live. And hopefully I've got nothing open that will make me go, bah. Hold on. Does it say? Live on YouTube. Right, hold on. Hopefully, this is gonna. I've got nothing open. Let's close this down. Make me. Caught in the act. Caught in the act. I stopped the stream. Can you hear me all? Yeah.
I do.
Good.
Yeah,
good.
I can hear.
Beautiful. Let's start. Okay. So, good morning, YouTube world. Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, world in general. It's a good morning. The wind has cleared. The sun is out. It's a little bit windy, but it's blowing all those cobwebs away. So we like it. And today it is Mental Health Awareness Week in the UK. Is it in France, mental health?
I'm not aware of that. No, I don't think so.
Right, okay, let me just shut down this screen because I've got myself waving in the background. There's another screen. I'm like, so it's not in France. Okay, so in England it's Mental Health Awareness Week, and the topic is kindness. So I thought, what better way than to do our talk about kindness? I think Lena's coming on in a bit as well, but I've got you too, and that's all that matters. And we're just going to have a good old discussion, basically, because kindness, to me, I always try and act and give out to the world what I want to receive. So I want to see more kindness. I want to be surrounded by people that are kind. And I know that's not always realistic. I'm aware, and I'm not, I know that. But I do believe that kindness just gives the biggest rewards, for me anyway. When I am just my authentic self, I don't need to act like anybody else. I don't have anything to prove. I don't have anything to prove. I'm quite happy with being me. There's Lena. There she is. Morning, love. Morning. Darling. She's here. Morning, Lena. Right, you're connected as well. Yes, so I don't have anything to prove. So for me, I am literally just going from my heart out to the world, and this is it. Take it or leave it. If you don't like it, that's fine. And if you do like it, join with us, because we need to spread that love and the kindness virus. That's what we need to do. So in my view. So we've all got the potential to make the world a happy place. We can all do that if we choose to do that. And also just by allowing myself to be who I am and the kindness to come through, it doesn't mean that I'm a doormat. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that I can't say no, because I can say no. And believe me, as I've got older, saying no is easier. It's like a gift. When I was growing up, there were so many times that I just was like, oh yeah, and you do it for someone else, or you do it and you don't feel it. But I find that if you're doing something that you don't feel from your heart, well, number one, you're not going to give 100% anyway. And number two, you're not being kind to yourself. You're not being kind. And kindness starts at home, right? It starts with you. You've got to put that gas mask on first before you can help everyone else. The oxygen mask, not the gas mask. It's an early start for me today. My brain needs the cobwebs to be blown away. So yeah, from my view, I literally do just live as kindly as I possibly can, and try and share as much kindness as another. And I don't think of it as being kind. I don't think, oh, I'm going to be kind. That's not it at all. I think of it as just being me. And that's it. That's all that matters. So yeah, being kind. I'm going to throw it out there. I'm throwing it out. Let's go. Aaron.
All righty. Yes. I think kindness is really overlooked in the world when it comes to healing and helping people raise their vibration. And I think kindness is closely connected to love. And love is our natural state. It's the force behind creation. So when you're being kind, you are acting from a position of love, from a state of love. And right off the bat, you raise your own vibration. And besides, you are making somebody's life, better, happier. So it's a win-win. So you're helping somebody and you're helping yourself. It's just incredible, you know, when you look at the positive effects when you're being kind. And I have a favorite motto in life, that unselfish giving is the unselfish giving is the foundation of fulfillment.
Ooh,
And when you're giving, you're being kind, right?
yeah.
And being that as the foundation of fulfillment, I think it really is true. So I love that. I always keep reminding myself of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so basically, I think this should be prescribed as a medicine to lift your mood, to lift depression, in my opinion. So I've heard about natural ways to deal with mental health illnesses. Like in Scotland, doctors prescribe walking in nature to help you lift your depression, which is great, because it really helps, doesn't it?
Yeah.
When you're in nature and you're walking. But also being kind and really making the extra effort to generate kindness and perform acts of kindness on a daily basis will do the same thing. Will raise your vibration, will kind of redirect the focus from yourself dwelling on your problems to doing something, the good deeds for people. And so I've shared a nice technique with people I've coached before. It's the kindness journal. I'm sure you've heard about it.
No,
yeah.
Go ahead.
It's basically for 15 days or 20, whatever, you start journaling your act of kindness. So every day you make an extra effort to do something for somebody. Could be simple things, calling an old friend, singing happy birthday, delivering something to your neighbor, anything, or saying nice compliments in a shop, appreciating the shopkeeper, whatever, and record it and record what you did, how that made that person feel, and how it made you feel.
Nice.
So these 3 things, and you do that for like 20 days, and you're gonna see the changes in yourself.
Yeah. I can and repetition, because by
Yeah.
giving it, it's like the law of attraction, isn't it? It's the law of attraction. Just what you give out, you receive. So, and what you want, you ask for. So if you're asking for those kindness, you're going to get it.
Yeah.
So thanks, Aaron. That was lovely. That was lovely. Okay, so maybe Susie, my darling. Morning, love.
I was muted. Well, yeah, as I said earlier, in NLP, we like to go to the bottom of things and see the process. And because behind everything, there is a process. So I would like first to take a few moments to discuss a little bit about this term, kindness, because it is one of these concepts that can be used a bit against ourselves as well, and against each other in the world, in a way. For instance, if we talk about anger, everybody here will just remember a moment from the past when they felt angry, and they know what I'm talking about. If I talk about joy or laughter, you all know what I'm talking about. So it's very simple. However, there are other states or notions that are less clear, and they're harder to define than others. And they're very much subject to interpretation, right? Especially terms that are defined through other terms. So it's like being kind is not as simple as anger and as love, right? It involves a set of actions or behaviors that are not probably the same for everybody. So in my work, I prefer to stay in the clarity and simplify everything and chunk it down to basic elements, because the more complex the subject is that I have to deal with, if I think of myself as unkind, the more overwhelmed I feel by it and less I'll do about that. And it's going to be harder for me to really deal with it. So for instance, kindness is defined through all kinds of other states or gestures or qualities of being: friendship, generosity, and consideration, affection, gentleness, warmth, concern, and care, and all these things. And it's not everybody that shows their affection in the same way. And if the person doesn't show that affection towards me in the way that I need, it doesn't mean that they're not kind, right? And I'm not saying that kindness is not a desirable state to be in general, yeah? However, it can bring confusion to people and it creates more harm than good sometimes, yeah? So if you think of yourself as unkind, this is a judgment, okay? And it's pretty harsh on yourself to do that.
Mm.
And I always tell people in my coaching sessions, do not aim to be a better person. Aim to feel better, right? And aim to change that which doesn't work for you. Because if you think of yourself, well, I'm unkind, I'm judging myself, I put myself down again. So it's not kindness in that sense. It is feeling better. Because as you said, Daniela, and I loved what you said earlier, it's just being yourself. It's just being spontaneously you. You don't have to think of being kind in order to be kind, right? Just be there with who you are. Because if you do that, then you'll be able to be there for others. Because, you know, the emotional realm is really complicated. Why? Because it is highly subjective and it involves being good to others, and being good is not always the same for everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for instance, and the paradox actually with kindness is that sometimes people that are preaching kindness are unkind to people that seem unkind to them. You follow me on that?
Yeah, say that again. So
I said that the paradox with kindness is that sometimes people that are preaching kindness are unkind to people that seem unkind to them.
oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you preach kindness, then be kind to everybody. But is that possible? So probably it's not kindness there. And it becomes problematic a little bit. For instance, in a relationship, Danielle, if I'm in a relationship with you and I believe that being good to you is to constantly overwhelm you with kisses and hugs and be all over you all the time and overwhelm you with my presence. And if for you being kind means, you know, I want to give her the space. I think that loving someone and caring for someone is giving her the space to be there and have her own time and read her books and do her things that, you know, passionate her. Then we'll have a problem in our relationship.
Yes.
And this in coaching with couples, we usually do that because they say, well, I have lots of kindness towards you, or somebody tells to the other one, you're not kind to me. Well, what do you mean by that?
Yeah.
What precisely do you mean by that? So we have to chunk it down into the type of gestures and actions that you will recognize as kindness and then express them to the other one and say, okay, to me, it means to hug me 3 times a day. And that's being kind. Or, you know, not being too harsh talking like that, you know, that's being unkind. So it's good to define, and it's good to understand that what you believe is kind is not always kind to the other person.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, what do you think about that?
I think, well, I mean, it's funny you say that, because a friend of mine this morning, she has the same situation. She's with someone and she's at a position where they may move in together. But his world is so far different from her world. What she is used to is being alone and being kind of enclosed in her world, where he's very much into his family. He's a very family person. So he won't think about inviting his sons over. You know, he'll just think about, you're just like, oh, come over, come on. Whereas that's an intrusion to her. Now, they got on so many different levels, but on that level, there's a massive gap. And the thing is it worth it? Is it worth the compromise? Number one, that's the first thing. Is that relationship worth compromise? And number two, can you compromise? Obviously. And number three, there was a number three. It's just popped into my head, and then it popped out. So
it's going to come back. It's going to come back. Don't worry.
Yeah, it will. So is it worth it? Oh, I can't remember what it
was.
Well,
because yeah, you're right. I mean, it's good to it's a good exercise to define kindness and have that conversation.
Yeah.
Because it will enable you to understand about yourself and about the other. Okay. Because most of the time you want to give the kindness, like you said, you want to give the kindness that you haven't received.
Yeah. It's not. There's no right and wrong either. That's what I was going to say. There's no right and wrong.
It's not right and wrong. Absolutely. There is no right and wrong.
No.
It's just different. Yeah. So if you want to give the kindness that you haven't received, it's very subjective. And the thing is, and you have to listen to this carefully, it's not about the other, it's about you. When you want to give the kindness that you haven't received, it's about you. And real kindness, in my opinion, is about the other, right? Real kindness is about a genuine interest in the other, a genuine curiosity of the other person's inner universe. It's like exploring a new island, it's like exploring a new territory you've never been into. This is, to me, kindness, and allowing the other to be there as they are, exploring that inner world and tuning into that person and creating rapport with them and seeing the true nature and knowing that they have all the resources that they need in order to pass through whatever health or mental or emotional issues that they have.
Oh,
So kindness is not thinking with them in the patterns that make them suffer, because to some people it is that. And I have many people coming in coaching sessions because I'm too kind and I'm too generous, and people bring me down. Well, this is not kindness. Kindness is not thinking with them in this murky and negative states. On the opposite, is allowing them, creating in them the possibility to have more choice, and then just let them fly, watch them fly. To me, that's kindness.
Susan.
I don't want to bring you where I am. I want you to go where you want, where you choose to go.
It's beautiful. That was so beautifully worded as well. Oh.
Yeah, and then think of a child, for instance, think of a child that has broke a leaf or a plant, or destroying a plant outside. It's a little kid. And then you tell them, hey, this is not kind. Do you think that was helpful? No, but because that will do more harm to him and the plant. But if you explain to him that plants are essential to our world, that the same energy that flows through their body flows through that plant, that they are essential for our oxygen, for our food, for the beauty that we have around us, well, I think that the child will get something else and will bypass that feeling guilty, feeling bad, being kind, being unkind. It's not about kindness here. It's about knowing the world that you live in. Yeah. And a very important comment here. I have plenty of things to say. You cut me when you.
So I'll come back to you, Susie. I love that. Brilliant. So, thank you, darling. It was wonderful, Lena. My darling girl. So nice to see your face again.
Nice to see you all.
Oh, I miss you.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for being here. So grateful. Yeah. So, Lena, kindness to you.
I wanted to, pretty much kind of add on to what everyone else is talking about, because just elaborate a little bit.
Yeah.
Coming from you and Susanna and Aaron, there's something very nice that very quite easily working for everyone in NLP, where the notion of putting yourself as a fly on the wall for a given situation, like Susanna says, it's not about the definition. Kind is what's kind to me, it's kind what's kind to the other person. It is a different model of the world. But most people, and then saying, well, just be who you are, an obstacle in most people's lives is that they don't really know who they are, and they've never asked that question. They've been following up other footsteps, and then there's a path that they always take, like your friend, for example, oh, I'm always kind, or your client, I'm always kind, I always do this for other people, I'm always so kind. But that's a notion of perspective of themselves or the world around them, or how they see things. And however, if there's a situation that for whatever need is an obstacle, or it seems to be stuck in your head and you seem to be questioning it, since we're talking about kindness and that, let's make it work. If there's something that you question, usually it has that sort of uneasy feeling about it. And then something about it is not true. Whether your perspective of the situation or the other person, or somebody is not seeing your view, or you're not seeing the other person's view, or the world as a whole, or regardless of what the situation is, whether it's in a relationship with other people, relationship with yourself, a relationship with the world around you. When something seems dense and heavy and unkind, for a split second, if you could just observe that situation from over here and look at it, then what would you say to the world right now? If it's the world that's bothering you, what would you say to your relationship that's feeling uneasy? Or what would you say to yourself? When we talk about it, when we rationalize this in our heads, we can make 10,000 scenarios about, oh no, he said, and now she said, and so I'm not talking about that. Because that adds you up in a story where you carry on, creating density and friction. As soon as there's a friction somewhere within yourself or the world around you, stop. What I'm talking about is observe. Stillness, even if it's for 3 seconds, it takes 3 seconds. And be honest at the first thought that comes into your mind, looking at a person that seems unkind, or looking at a world that seems so harsh and unkind, to a God that's been so horrible and unkind, or regardless of what the scenario is. 3 seconds of a gap where you are the fly on the wall and just observe. And then allow the first thought that comes to mind to be the one that is a guiding thought. Often those thoughts are very neutral when you do the exercise and non-judgmental towards you, the world, or often they're a little bit bigger than the concept that was going on in your mental state before you removed yourself as part of the victim or being in the situation. It's a beautiful, beautiful exercise in NLP to detach.
Yeah, so, Lena, that was wonderful.
Back to you.
That was you word things, all of you word things so beautifully, so hypnotically, and so descriptively. Oh, I'm in awe of your language. Oh, I love it.
I had something together.
Susie.
Lena, I think you were actually part of the group when I was doing that exercise, and you kind of helped me to do one of those. I remember precisely. I went right back into that moment when I was observing a specific moment in the past as being the fly. And indeed, you get lots of insight as looking at it from a different perspective. And I was talking to Danielle, maybe later, we can do a little exercise, an NLP exercise similar to that will enable one to get more kindness, if you want to use this word. Yeah. But since you talked about being aware and stopping for a moment, it's very interesting you said that, because you see, to me, kindness is a sort of is the result of a specific state. I mean, if we want to aim towards something, I wouldn't aim towards kindness, because real kindness is the product or the result, if you want, of knowledge. In yoga, we're defining the ultimate reality of the human being through 3 Sanskrit words, which are Sat, Chit, and Ananda. And this is the goal in the practice of yoga, to reach the state of Sat, Chit, and Ananda. Which Sat means truth, Sat Chit means consciousness, and Ananda means bliss. So the true nature of the human being is truth, consciousness, and bliss. So we're not talking about love, and we're not talking about kindness. It's what we aim towards. Why? Because when you get into that state where you feel connected with everything and you are part and one with everything, the automatic response, if you want, to the world is what? Is love and kindness. From that perspective, being one and connected to the source, you cannot but just be kind and loving. So I would not put pressure on myself, I should become a kinder person. I should aim towards this feeling connected with the truth of who you are.
Yeah.
About knowing yourself more, and about understanding others, how it works in others. No? So coming back to NLP, it all depends on the territory on which your gesture lands. You see, the human mind always tries to apply patterns and make rules, right? When this happens, I should act like this, right? For this particular case, I'm going to apply that particular remedy. So you may think that what you're doing is kind when you want to help someone and be kind, but perhaps that person doesn't allow that for now to go into their universe. And then you'll suffer and it'll be disappointed, right? So
yeah,
yeah, and then you, like you mentioned, Danielle, you say you feel hurt, and then you start to say no, and then you start to go a bit on the other side, like from being excessively kind, you start to be excessively selfish, say, no, I'm only interested in myself now, but that's not it.
No.
The answer is really knowing yourself, knowing your own mind, how the mind works, and understanding each person has their own representation of the world is the best act of kindness. Because then you really hear and see the person in front of you. You really see them.
Yeah.
You really hear them, and then you react to them according to the situation, as the situation requires you to, right? Sometimes kindness is telling the person the truth.
Yeah.
Or letting them go, you know, or telling them, hey, listen, you have to change that. Or I cannot be with you
Susanna,
anymore. Yeah,
on that topic, I just want to drop a bomb
please.
where like gives people something to think about.
Yeah.
When you hand out, think about a homeless person and handing out to a homeless person. There's time where this is kind. This could be seen as kind. You hanging out, whether it's money or food parcel or whatever it is, to a homeless person. That may be perceived as kind. But what if it's the very trap that keeps that person homeless?
Oh yeah. See, that's the thing. It's
I
the
just want that's for
perspective.
people to understand as we talk about kindness. Drop that bomb.
No, I see what you're saying.
Yes, yes. You know what? And I'm thinking I'm having this metaphor in my mind right now. You see, because if you were to be in a prison and treated with kindness, or be totally free and feel free to choose what you want to be, what would you choose? It's not the kindness, right, that mattered. It's enabling that person to feel free and feel how powerful they are. That's kindness, I think, more than anything else.
So kindness makes me feel good about myself, which is lovely. And like going back on Aaron's point with the list, that is a very beautiful kindness list, where noticing when you putting yourself down, having a list with those for 21 days or 20 days where you've noticed all your kindness, that definitely shifts you from getting out of a mindset where you're a Martha and you get nothing out of yourself other than feeling sorry for yourself and talking harsh in your internal language. But the other situation is when you are doing kind for that feeling, I'm now being kind, and the discretion to use is like, well, okay, the world does not owe you anything for your decision of what kind is.
At the end of the day, you're giving out energy to everyone that you give kindness to. And it's a beautiful thing, because when we give, we do receive, but we're not doing it to receive. We're doing it because it's a natural flow. But if you're giving it to someone that isn't appreciating it or is blocking that energy, that is just the drain on who you are. So you have to give your kindness and who you are as a person and who you are as an energy to the right people that will enhance their lives too. Because if you're blocking something, you're not ready for that. You're not ready for that energy. So you have to be open and ready to accept it. As humans, we're born and we have it. Kindness is fundamental to who we are as people. We're born and we're reliant on our parents. We're reliant on our parents being kind to us, or our carers being kind to who we are. And that's how we're kind of wired and grow up with that. So it's kind of literally wiring into who we are to be kind. So, it's the journey throughout the years that we learn either different ways of perspectives to hurt that we've experienced in the past that may block your kindness, or just greed maybe, or there's different areas that could be. You have to come from who you are. And if we go back to birth, we're born open, honest, and just at one with the universe. That's what we're born. So that's a good place to be as well. To be a baby again. For most babies, should I say, for most babies.
Yeah, but it's also, Danielle, because you said that, and going back to what Aaron proposed, an exercise, which is so nice. It's basically establishing as many habits that serve you and that can serve others, that make you feel good. So searching for and elicit and pile up, like you said, from when you're a baby and you had that innocence, and you had that just pleasure of discovering others and relating to others, and you didn't judge others, and you didn't have to see them as good or bad. Of course, it comes down to the dangerous part, but we don't go there for now. But, you know, just a matter of searching for these moments in the past and elicit them, and remember when you felt good, remember when you felt connected with others, remember when you felt that generosity, and pile them up, as many as you can, anchor them in the body, as that eventually you have more choice in how you want to feel. And then when somebody is totally rude in front of you, you have more choice. You don't have to see them as unkind. You can see, well, this person has a pattern there. You can realize, okay, there's something going on in there. And if you have that choice, and if you have some resourceful state anchored in your body, you can just elicit it and then just be there and allow, maybe you can serve that person just by saying them, listen, this anger is not useful for you now. Rather than, oh my God, you feel angry, or just scream back at them, or, you know, that is kindness. Kindness is that freedom of choice, that I can choose how I can be with you now, regardless of what your representation of the world is.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Perfect. Oh dear. So, but Aaron, you disappeared for a minute. You're back.
No, I'm back. Yeah, I was gonna unmute myself, and I did.
Oh yeah, unmute. Aaron, have you got?
Yeah.
anything?
Yeah, I was just gonna add to that what Susanna said, and also Lena before. I mean, when you look at kindness on a spiritual level, so the big picture, that you just circulate the flow of kindness, the flow of love, no matter what. And yes, some people will reject it. You know, people who are not on the same frequency, vibrational frequency, and they probably have you know, a lot of negative emotions stored. They can't communicate their needs properly, and they will reject. But somehow believing that as you circulate this flow of kindness and love, it will make an impact even on those people's lives. Because, you know, when you meet somebody who's upset or really angry, but you're still, you know, kind to that person, you know, the mirror neurons will start firing. And
That's
you know, the guy, you know, the person can't help it but somehow change the physiology, because those mirror neurons are working. So maybe the person is pushing it away, but at a certain level, it's still working. It's still working.
Yeah, I mean, and the more they get given kindness, then the more that they realise there's nothing to fear, and they can let down their barrier. Absolutely.
That's it. Yeah.
But they have to be ready. You know, you're right. That's why I mean, that's the way I am. I am kind to everybody. I am just me to everybody. And if I feel a barrier, I will just keep being myself, but I won't give so much of my energy, because when I love someone unconditionally, and I would do anything for them. I just would. That's who I am as a person. If I can, you know, if it's within my capability, I just want everyone to thrive and to be happy. That's all I want, is happiness and peace on earth. But if someone is that barrier, and I feel things, I feel it very, very acutely in my gut, you know, I feel that barrier, and I will still be who I am to them and give them that kindness, but my soul is protected. I won't get hurt by that person, because there's a protection on me, you know. So yeah, so it's just my authentic self coming out. That's I love that, what you're saying. But yeah, the more you're surrounded by positivity and love and kindness, the more you're going to be in the position to be able to let that barrier down and take it in. I love that, Aaron.
Yeah, it was just a quick story. Hope it relates to this. On Valentine's Day, I took her we went to a restaurant and to celebrate it, my girlfriend and I, and we were sitting nicely.
Back in the day when you could go to a restaurant.
Oh,
what's that?
Back in the day when you could go to a restaurant.
Oh yeah, back in the day. Yeah,
in the olden days.
Yeah, and then we're just sitting there, really having a nice time and meal, and the guy came in and sat in the corner. He was only able to see us from that corner, and I noticed that he started, grumbling and picking a fight with the waiter, and he was kind of talking in an angry voice and kind of towards us. And I looked at him, and he was looking at me, and I looked away, and got to the point where the situation got heated, and he stood up and he was yelling at the waiter, and he was coming towards us, and he started yelling at us and really, swearing and everything. And I stood up, I kind of, took my fighting stance, apparently, because I used to do martial arts, but at the same time, I was still being kind to that guy, because he wanted to fight, he wanted to provoke it. But I said to him, listen, nobody here has a problem with you or wants to hurt you, not me, not anybody here. We're in a calm manner, and that's what really helped. And eventually he left, but he was ready to take a swing on me.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking afterwards, instead of saying that, oh, that guy ruined our night, we said that what could have been going on in his mind to warrant that behavior? I mean, there could have been that his girlfriend passed away, maybe, or left him, and it was Valentine's Day. I wanted to take it out on somebody who's having a good time and in love. So coming from that position, going back to the fly on the wall kind of thing, get perspectives, you can kind of change your attitude to people who reject kindness. I'm not sure if this fit in here. But
No, I love that. I actually,
Definitely
it's like diffusing the fire with water.
yeah,
It's like throwing, the water on the fire, because the fire just wants to burn, but you're kind of going, just calm down, relax, let this ember simmer away and fade to
Of course, there's situations where you need to take action, and it's maybe you gotta fight, because it's a situation of life or death almost. But up until you get to the point, you can still reverse the situation.
Yeah, that's
you
right. It's a learning curve as well. It is a learning curve.
Yeah, but you see, it has nothing to do with who you are and how kind you are. You just knew to do something, and you chose to use a tool, like to have some perspective. So it doesn't have to do with anything with how your essence or his essence, for that matter. I mean, love is who you are, love is who he is. It's just at that point there was some patterns acting through him, and you found the pattern that worked in that moment to diffuse it. So that's basically a process. That's why I don't want to go too much in the coaching session with people, like talking too much about kindness, because you go into this emotional thing and then it's endless. You turn around in circles. But that reminds me of a very, very interesting, and I always use this story when actually when we talk about love and kindness, is this Zen master that is giving speeches every Sunday. And this woman that goes and she listens to his speeches every weekend, and she's always very fond of what he says. But one day she goes to him and she says, Master, I've been following your advices, but this time I have a little problem and a little question for you. You see, every time I go to work, I pass through this narrow street, and there is this person, a street person that is there, and sometimes he's drunk and sometimes he comes and attacking me. And last time I hit him with my umbrella because he attacked me. And she said, you always advise us to feel love and to be loving towards the other. And now I feel bad because I just hit this man, and this is not love. And the master answered, I'm sorry, I'm always laughing when I'm saying this story. He said, my dear, listen to what you have to do. Next time you go to your job, you pass on that path and you see that man coming and attacking it, you fill your heart with love and then hit him with the umbrella.
Nice.
This is something that people tend to get lost with. We all, like Danielle says, yes, it's all fantastic to about being a happy world and happy people, and on another planet, people. We are on Earth. Yeah. We live on Earth for now. Earth is duality. You will not know happiness if you don't know sadness. You will not know kindness if you don't know unjust and unkind. We live in duality. This school is one hell of a school. And thinking about just the things that feel lovely, it's all very nice, but you've got to go through all the emotions. So maybe something angers you. Now, where is that anger coming from? What were you passionate about? Do you know that passion comes from the word passion, means to suffer?
Wow.
So as soon as you realize something that brings out so much of, when you say, well, this is why I'm passionate. Yes, you are, but that is the very thing that brings your suffering in a way. And the suffering that is not necessarily a bad thing. It is your experience as you know it or as you go through it. You cannot possibly just have kind and joy and happiness. We'll all burn out. We will not be here. Energy spins so fast. That's why dogs don't live so long. That you can't.
Oh, doggies.
We need to learn. We've got things to learn. You've got to live it. You've got to feel it with everything.
Yeah.
And it's a human. Bottom line is, do not judge. It's a human emotion. Human emotion is normal. It is like Susanna's story. Fill your heart with love and hit him with an umbrella. Nothing but love will come to him. And that's
it's the truth.
You are on earth. You are human. You are allowed to be angry. You are allowed to be sad. You are allowed to be fearful. You are allowed to be happy. Yet, do not indulge in any of it for too long.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Just be authentically you.
Carry on. Always look in front of you. Okay, you're sad now, or right now you're angry. And because we're on the topic of kindness, that's why I'm bringing anger with the story of Aaron and Susanna, how anger came about. People, when they're nice, they really get upset when you're not nice to them. They like proper get upset. Or when they perceive something as unkind. Like Susanna earlier in a conversation mentioned that it's just two different representations of kindness. And if not verbalized, I don't know what your kind is. You don't know what my kind is. They're completely on another planet. It is okay to be angry. That doesn't mean you're a bad person. It means you're human. I'm going back to the observation. Allow yourself to observe yourself and give yourself that gap for the decision. Okay, I'm angry now. Think about it. Where was I? I was busy following my passion. As I mentioned, passion is part of your suffering. And then I got annoyed because this was not working my way. And then violence comes in. Then you want to hit. And if you observe these phenomena and emotions, they still go through you. You feel them, but you don't necessarily have to act on them. It is okay to be angry.
It is. Absolutely is.
And the most kindest thing is to realize that I am angry right now.
Be true to who you are.
Yes. And that is truth too.
And actually, I found something, and through the 1990s, there was a doctor called Dr. Masaru Emoto. Okay, yes. I probably said it completely wrong. And he performed a series of experiments examining the natural effects of words, prayer, music, and environment on the crystalline structure of water. And he noted when using loving words and kind words, they were conveyed to the water. They formed a complete crystal structure to energies of hate, very different to energies of hate and anger. So we are incredible. Our energy and our fields and what we don't see. Oh my gosh, that to me blows my mind, because we can create through our energy and words. We are creating beauty or disformity. And that's a proven thing, a scientific thing. And we can't see that happening, but it's happening. So everything that you don't see is so much more than what we do see. And I find that absolutely incredible. And 70% of our body approximately is made up of water. So all of those passions and those emotions that you're giving out from your internal authentic you, that's going to become either the beautiful crystallines, or it's going to be a little bit not so good. So I think being kind to yourself is looking after who you are first before you can give out to everyone else, and make those beautiful crystalline structures, make those snowflakes. Oh, that's what snowflakes are. I remember I sat in my car once and it was a very frosty day, and I got in my car and it was like an ice palace, and I took a picture of it actually, and the beauty of the ice, just the crystals, the like snowflakes all around my car. And I felt I was absolutely, oh my God, nature is incredible. And we are nature and we are incredible. Bring it on.
Yeah.
Bring it on. I love it. Yeah.
I'm glad we get to this point, because maybe I'm actually changing my mind about the exercise that we could do, since we have a few minutes left.
Let's do it.
About kindness to yourself, because there is one person you should start with.
Yeah.
It's this one. Yeah. So it's a very nice exercise. I actually mentioned it. Selling my book again. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm actually having in my book, in Open Your Heart to Love. Yes. I have a chapter on your inner voice. And since you're talking, and make it more clear, because everybody has the notion of kindness, but we can all recognize a kind words. We can all recognize a kind voice. We can always recognize a kind advice as compared to harsh or hateful or anger. And so what I will ask you to do, all of you now here and everybody listening and watching, is to think of a moment when you did something wrong, and try to remember what you're telling yourself when things don't work well. Like, how do you talk to yourself when you think you failed? Can somebody give me an example here so we can do this? Frustration. Yeah. And what do you tell yourself, for instance?
For goodness sake.
Stupid cow.
Yeah. Why did I do that? For goodness sake. So not again.
And this is how it really sounds, right?
Yeah, it does.
In your mind. Try to listen to it carefully. Aaron, do that too as well, please, if you can. To really listen to the tone and the voice. And again, say it, each of you say it out loud, so we can have fun with that now.
We can. What we would normally say. What
would you normally say when you do something wrong? Yes.
Oh, can't believe that's happened again. For goodness sake.
Yeah.
Lena?
Silly. How can you be so silly, stupid woman?
Yeah, that's fast in this tempo and this voice. Yeah. Okay. And Aaron, what do you say?
I'm pretty good at this because I shift very quickly. Okay. But I usually say, oh crap, I screwed up. Yeah. But then I know, how to do it next time. So I really quickly shift.
Oh,
so it's just a quick reaction to it, but then I immediately shift, and that's just a habitual way of thinking now.
Okay.
And I never beat myself up. I always just look at, okay, what did I learn? Next time I can do it better.
It's because you haven't got female hormones, time of the month. That's what it is.
Yeah. Well, on that note with Aaron, I do say this thing, but it's so natural to pass, like Susanna said, it just passes through because you have the neurotransmitters that are used to using that pathway. So they fire.
Yeah, that's why it's good to train. So let's go back to the exercise and let's think.
Yes, I usually laugh.
Yes. No, it's best to actually change that voice, because if you only laugh, you don't create new pathways. So Danielle, what would you tell yourself that would be really kind? if you were to tell that to a child that you love, to your baby,
Oh,
something wrong, what tone you would use and what would you tell yourself?
oh, I like that. I'd say, you see what happens when you do that? And it will keep happening until you learn. But you are learning. You're learning every time it happens. So don't worry, it will be okay. It's not the end of the world. Let's do it again.
Go kinder than that.
Kinder.
Kinder.
Oh, how kind do I go? I'm real me.
Kinder than that. Kinder than that, and
Kinder.
shorter and sweet.
So don't worry, it'll all be okay. It's okay. You're going to learn from this.
It's okay. You're going to learn from this.
Yeah.
And try the tone, a very loving tone, like really tender and kind.
Darling, it's okay. It's actually okay. You're going to learn. You're going to learn from
You're
this.
going to learn. Now, okay, close your eyes and say it mentally to yourself.
Yeah.
Feels good, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like, oh, I'm okay.
So the trick is to keep repeating that every time you discover that you're telling yourself harsh words and you're treating yourself unkindly, and bring that voice on and then repeat that out loud, and then in your mind at least a few times a day, so that the more you repeat it, the more it becomes automatic. Lena, what would you tell kinder to yourself in a kinder way?
What I would tell is exactly what I tell my daughter,
Oh,
Which is?
Yeah. which is I usually kiss her on the forehead and give her a hug and say, it's okay, beautiful. It's just an experience.
It's okay, beautiful is just an experience. Can you put even more
Yeah.
love and kindness in that tone and say it out loud?
It's okay, beautiful. It's just an experience. It's
Even
okay.
more tenderness, more tenderness.
Love.
It's okay, beautiful. It's just an experience.
That's nice. Now say it mentally.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, I love it. I love that exercise.
Yeah.
Aaron, you have practice, but can you give us an example of what you already say, or something you could say even with more kindness to yourself
Yeah.
when something goes wrong?
Okay, I would say, that's okay. That is okay. At least you've tried. And it was a learning experience.
Even kinder than that.
That's absolutely okay. You've
Mhm.
tried your best. We'll learn from it and we do it again.
Oh,
Wow, that's nice. Cool. And
I'm
even
getting
more
so-
tenderness, more tenderness in the voice. Let's try like that softness, that your kindness that you like to hear. No, because we all have our own volume, a voice that signals kindness.
That is okay. I know. I'm trying to.
It's
do it
okay, it's
so
okay,
hard.
it's okay, it's good because you practice and everybody can understand how we do it, you know?
It's absolutely okay. You've done your best, and we'll try again.
Cool. Now
Oh.
close your eyes and say it mentally with that tone, hearing that kind voice in your mind. That total kindness towards yourself and love and acceptance, and really the understanding that what you've done is okay. And it's good because you're actually learning now.
It's kind of like a melody, nice melody in your
Yeah.
head, right?
And
Playing.
what happens in the body, guys? What did you experience in your body as you're telling that to yourself?
Oh, it just all changes, doesn't it? The whole vibration of what's been given out. Everybody's voice was given with the same vibration. That beautiful, like a rainbow vibration. It was wonderful. Like it was beautiful. That tone. Oh,
Yeah.
I liked that.
Yeah. So that's an exercise you can do to practice kindness. And the more you practice this voice of kindness, the more you can use it with yourself and of course with others. And you can practice it with your children more to bring that kindness into the voice, because the voice is really, really important. We hear much more unconsciously than we hear consciously, right?
Yeah, I agree.
And the
Yeah,
harshness, we sometimes perceive it in the way that it is said. Sometimes my girl says certain things, but because she has this ta, 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 and I told her, I think it's the tone, I think it's the tonality and the acuity of the sound that kind of irritates me.
Yeah.
So, you know, sometimes it's the tone of the voice that irritates somebody, even if you say something nice. But if you say, I love you, you know, like,
Yes.
you are important to me, you know.
That's why they say that only 7% of what's communicated between people is transmitted through words, and 38 is the tone of voice, and 55 is the result of physiology, and that's proven. So that's incredible. Physiology 55,
Wow.
38 tonality, and 7% words.
Yeah.
That makes sense, doesn't it? I can't.
Mm.
Oh, thank you. Well, do you know what? It's been another incredible hour. Like, I always start off and I haven't got a clue what I'm going to say or anything. And like, by the end of it, I'm just feel so good. And I'm so grateful to you guys for showing up.
Me too.
Yeah, honestly, I'm very, very, you are all beautiful, angel, kind beings. Like,
We're kind, aren't we?
Kind, yeah.
we're
Yeah,
one
aren't
of a
we
kind.
just the kindest?
Yeah, we're kindest, and others should be kind as we are.
Yeah,
I'm
yes.
just joking. I'm just joking. But I
Oh,
think
I love
kindness ultimately is a.
We're being
is-
bullies
it-
now.
Exactly. See, so I think kindness is ultimately choosing to be in a resourceful state most of the time. If you
Yeah.
want to be kind, use that everything you know, and get there and access those states and pile them up and build yourself to be the happiest person on earth. But not happy in the sense of, oh, I don't care about what's going on in the world, but being able all the time to access that state of purity, of love, of truth. And if you want to feel peace, you just touch your anchor and you feel peace. That is kindness, you know.
Perfect. Thanks, Sue.
And if you don't have an anchor, ask us for one. Send us a message. We'll help you with an
Yeah,
anchor.
and
Okay,
anyone
well,
watching this, everyone's going to be listed in the description, or the websites. Come and contact us if you need any more advice, any help. Come and join us. Come and speak to us. We're all contactable. Please like and subscribe and share this video to everybody that you think will get value of it. And it's Mental Health Awareness Week, so spread the word of kindness and love, and spread this message too. And I'm going to end with a quote by Mother Teresa, because it is 2 minutes to go. So Mother Teresa, she had a poem entitled Anyway, and she states, "People are often unreasonable, illogical, and self-centered. Forgive them anyway. If you're kind, people may accuse you of being selfish, ulterior motives. Be kind anyway." So thank you, Mother Teresa. Thank you. And thank you're all of you wonderful. And thank you for watching as well. So I'm going to stop the live stream now, and I'll be with you guys. So let me just take this off. Bye, YouTube. Facebook.